Welcome to the official YouTube channel of HE-MANIA.com. I'm your host AJ, and today I'm doing an unboxing and a mini review of the Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, New Eternia Wave 9 Deluxe Whiplash figure, otherwise known as the oversized Whiplash figure. Now, this is the first time that Whiplash has ever appeared in Masterverse plastic. And to the left, I have a New Eternia Masterverse 2-Bad figure. And to the right, I have a New Eternia Beastman Masterverse figure. And these two made me very excited about getting a New Eternia Whiplash because, to be honest, at first I was bummed that it was a New Eternia Whiplash. What I really wanted was a Revelation Whiplash. Now, I'm a big fan of the Netflix animated series Masters of the Universe Revelation, but regardless of what you think about that show, that Whiplash in that series had a really awesome look. You know, when he was part of the Technicult, you know, he had this mechanically enhanced thigh and mechanical armor. And then he had this extendable tail that had like this electrical sparking like meteor hammer ball at the end of it that he could smash his enemies with. And it was really fantastic. And I just can't wait to see that realized in Masterverse plastic. But unfortunately, we didn't get it here, but we do have a New Eternia Whiplash. And these New Eternia figures here, the 2-Bad and the Beastman, were two of the three most favorite figures of mine for 2022. So I got excited just on that fact alone, that imagine graced with these two great evil warriors, that I would get a Whiplash to go alongside of them. So first, let's take a closer look at that packaging. So as always, we first take a closer look at the terrific Masterverse artwork. Now, I don't believe Roy over at Mattel has announced yet who is the artist responsible behind this great artwork. Roy, if you're watching, I'd really love to get the artist's name on the bottom of the box. Give them a little credit. Maybe you can convince Mattel to do that. But fortunately, a little birdie had told me that the artist responsible for this artwork is Joseph John Sakade. And what a great job he did. Starting with the spine, we have this classic looking Whiplash with his orange iconic spear. And then on the back of the box, we have this New Eternia look, you know, the original design inspired by classic concepts. And, you know, once upon a time, they considered making him look like a Dungeons and Dragons character, basically. But it still is a really cool design. Now, what's interesting is on the bottom of the box, and this doesn't happen too much, we actually have instructions in regarding to how to assemble Whiplash's tail. I believe the last time we had instructions was on the Manny Faces New Eternia figure, where it showed how you can actually rotate his head with the gun. But I'm glad we have it now for Whiplash. And now let's take a closer look at this character's bio. All right, now that we're done looking at the packaging, it's time to take a closer look at this figure. So here is the New Eternia Wave 9 Whiplash out of the box. And I know at this point in the review, I usually have them turning around 360 degrees. But since I had to put the tail on him, I figured it'd just be better to do it by hand. So I stripped him down to his classic version here. He has none of his armor on, none of his helmet, so we could just take a closer look this way. And the first thing that caught my eye was the fact that Whiplash can't really stand up straight. Yeah, this is as far as his legs straighten out. So he's always going to have this like sort of hunchman look about him, you know, sort of like Beastman in Filmation. He's never going to be able to really stand up straight. I mean, can he stand up on his own without the tail? If we bend him at the diaphragm and maybe extend the arms as a counterweight. Yeah, there we go. He, of course, it's like a leapfrog position, but he can stand that way. But of course, we want to put in the tail, and there's a spot right there. You notice this hollow here. And then you insert the tail here. And look at that. It rotates 360 degrees. And it feels like there is a little bit of a bendy wire in there. Unfortunately, it doesn't bend too well. It feels like it only really bends in one direction. Looks like it's really only intended as a stand for your Whiplash figure, and unfortunately you're not going to get any crazy whipping dynamic poses with it. Yeah. So it's really just a stand for your figure. Okay, so here's the Whiplash with his tail. And another thing that grabs me at first is these feet of his, right? These feet actually look like bird feet, don't they? I mean, the boots itself almost look like they have feathers, but these look like bird feet. And it almost looks like they would belong on Stratus or something like that. I do like the scaly look of his skin, and I do like this paint. I like these bumps on the side of the legs. You know, does that affect articulation? No, not really. He can get his feet up. But he does have spikes on his shoulders. Does that affect articulation? Oh, look at that. Yep, that's as high as your figure can raise his arms. So if he's, yep, that's about as high as it can go. So it's interesting. Why I like these bumps here, it does prevent some articulation. That's a little disappointing. And then maybe the last thing that I'm going to point out here is the head sculpt here, the way it's attached here. I mean, we're going to take a closer look at the head sculpt, the actual design of it and the paint application. But the way it's attached here, it looks like it's missing something, right? It looks very narrow for the head. It doesn't look realistic. And maybe it's going to look better with the helmet on and the armor on, but it really doesn't, at least from the side, it doesn't look realistic. If you look from the front here and you want that classic look, it really doesn't look that bad. But if you're looking at pose from the side, it just looks sort of detached. It looks like almost it's floating there. And the articulation isn't that great. It does spin around. Other than that, it could be better. But from the front, you're really not going to see anything glaring about that. All right, so let's take a closer look at that head sculpt. So here is Whiplash's head sculpt and paint apps on that head up close. And oh yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Like the uses of the green and the green wash. Like the black around the eyes. And check out those red beady eyes. Oh, I love those red beady eyes. And the white teeth and stuff. Oh, look at that. First, these are great jowls, right? How can you not love these jowls? Those are almost like bulldog jowls. But underneath, look at that. He's got warts. He's got warts. How great is that? The only thing missing is, a matching neck with this tone. He looks so much better with a neck here. Instead, right now, he still kind of looks like he has a floating head. I mean, I'm loving this head sculpt here, but imagine if he just had a neck that actually fixed to this. I think he would just look so much better. All right, so let me put the helmet on this head here, like so, since we're taking an up-close look. So I like the helmet look here. Unfortunately, I don't think that's battle damage. I think my helmet is just scuffed a little out of the mold, which is a little disappointing. Yeah. But otherwise, I think it's a good look for him. Yeah. So in regards to accessories, I just wanted to start out Whiplash with his orange iconic spear, right? Because this is really his vintage look. And pretty soon we're going to put him in his new Eternia look and check that out. But so this is his vintage look, and he comes with his orange iconic spear. But in addition to this spear, he comes with the new Eternia helmet, which we just looked at. New Eternia loincloth armor and new Eternia shoulder and chest armor. And then a new Eternia torch and a fire effect that goes on top of the torch. And a new Eternia war axe, battle axe. And then finally, 2 closed fists, 2 punching hands. So here is Whiplash in this new Eternia outfit, and I'm actually really liking what I'm seeing. I mean, true, it does feel like he came out of something like Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe World of Warcraft, that green ogre look. But I gotta say, I like it. So I have him here, he's holding his axe. I wish, the axe is sculpted very nice, by the way, but I think it's too flat. It needed a little more, maybe a paint wash or something like that. The torch is nicer, though. You can see it has this little wrap here, and you know what? Let's light Whiplash's torch. It needs that fluorescent fire effect. Look at that. And now his torch is aflame. So it's really cool looking. You know, I like these armor rivets right here, how they're painted in silver, and they're painted down here too. You know what's funny? Up here, he has no battle damage whatsoever, but in the groin, he's taken a lot of hits. No wonder poor Whiplash is hunched over. See, only on this particular channel do you get this kind of review and this level of detail and scrutiny. Yeah, he's got a lot of battle damage on his loincloth armor, but nothing up here. Poor Whiplash. He's taken a lot of low blows. But yeah, I'm liking this look. And, you know, these colors really shouldn't work, right? The green and the pink, purple, and the blue. But it does. You know what this reminds me of? Let me see if I can reach on my shelf without stopping here. This reminds me of the Rulers of the Sun Masterverse Pighead. You know, it has the same similar colors, right? It's got that pink, purple, and the blue, and the neon green. And it really shouldn't work, but it does somehow. And this works even better. This is just really cool. And you know what I noticed? Some people might not like that the legs are hunched over, but I think this is going to make it really fun to pose, right? I mean, you could like spread the legs on your shelf here like so, and then maybe lower the axe. And he's really going to have this like cool, you know, posability about him that other figures are not going to be able to do. Look at that. And he's really going to look wild, I think, on your shelf, and it's going to be a lot of fun to play with. So real quick, I just wanted to whip up this evil quartet of New Eternia evil warriors so you could see them together and imagine how it could be displayed on your shelf. We have the New Eternia Clawful, New Eternia Too Bad, New Eternia Beastman, and of course New Eternia Whiplash. And I think these look great together. And now that I'm looking at them, I do kind of wish that New Eternia Clawful was oversized like these other three. It would look really amazing, but still they look fantastic together. And this is probably the way I'm going to display it on my shelf. And maybe you want to display it this way too. It's just really great. So what do I think of the Masterverse Masters of the Universe New Eternia Wave 9 Deluxe Whiplash figure? Overall, I like him very much, but this figure does have some complications, especially if you're looking to display him in his vintage classic style. There's no way to beat around the bush. Yeah, I really think it has a design flaw in regards to the way the head is attached to the body, the torso. It really just floats there with some bad articulation and really needed a stronger neck design. Now, fortunately, if you like this Whiplash figure in this New Eternia getup, the armor and the helmet actually covers this flaw. You really can't tell when he's wearing this gear. So if you plan on displaying him this way, no problem. But if you wanted to display him in his vintage look, you might not be completely thrilled with the way the head is attached to the body, and that might be the decider if you go ahead and purchase this figure. Personally, I like him displayed both ways, and I usually display my figure straight on, so, you know, it really covers up the flaw. So it's not an issue for me, but I just wanted to let you know because it might be an issue for someone else. But otherwise, I really do like the figure. I like the colors. I like the paint applications. I realize there, you know, those little protruding bumps or spikes does limit articulation to some degree. And the feet are kind of strange, these little boots. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. But overall, I'm encouraged by this design. I'm inspired by it. And I love this torch with the translucent fire. And overall, I'm really enjoying this figure. And I'm happy I have him. And I'm glad I'm going to be adding him to my Masterverse display shelf. So that's it. I want to thank you all for watching. And we'll see you next time.